Hello and welcome to my Las Vegas real estate blog. My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas Realty. Today I want to discuss buyer brokers agreement. What is a buyer brokers agreement? Basically, a buyer brokers agreement is a marriage between the buyer and that agent. Both parties making a commitment that they are going to work together, and it's a legal binding document stating that that buyer can no longer work with another agent. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if I'm locked in with that agent, what happens if another agent shows me another property? Now, here's the thing. As a licensed agent, also a member of the National Association of Realtors, and also at a local level, we actually have access to all the properties that are currently on the market. So don't think that one agent can show you another property that another agent can't, okay? Now, with the buyer brokers agreement, basically it comes down to, you as a consumer actually interviewing multiple agents to see who is actually the right agent for you. Can they actually do the job? There's a couple things that you want to take a look at. Number one is, how long have they been in the industry? How many transactions do they conduct yearly? Also, do they do this full-time or actually part-time? Okay, those are some of the compensating factors. And one more thing that I would like to add is, are they really educated and knowledgeable what's going on with the housing market? Okay, now the buyer brokers agreement, there's a couple things that you really need to take a look at with the buyer brokers agreement. Number one is the time frame. How long is this agreement? Because remember, if you have an agreement with this agent, then that agent couldn't show you that property that day, but then you went to an open house, then that agent showed you that property and you're like, I want this property. Next thing you know, you write up the contract with that agent. Based upon that agreement that you have, you will actually have to pay that agent a fee, okay? And that's something I want to get into. So number one is actually the time frame, okay? It could be 6 months, 1 year. That's between you and that agent, okay? The second thing is the commission. You have to look at what the commission is. Now, it is very important that you read this agreement because the commission could be a 3% commission. Now, as a selling agent that's actually representing the buyer that goes out and finds a property, okay? Let's just say that contract says 3%, okay? But now you go out, you find a property with that agent, but that listing agent is only paying a 2.5% or 2% co-op, okay? Based upon that agreement, that agent that you've just hired has the right to come after you for the remaining balance. Now, there's a lot of agents out there that won't come after you, but then you have those hard agents that will. So you're gonna have to determine that on your own, and that's based upon character, okay? Also, the third thing that you gotta look out for is fees, like transaction fees. Now, certain companies charge a transaction fee, okay? Now, that's basically a fee that you'll pay, towards paperwork, admin, or the broker will charge. So keep that in mind. It's just not an extra fee that the agent will actually pocket, okay? But it is an additional fee. Sometimes those additional fees could be $500, $1,000, or it could be $3,000. It just really depends on the client and also the type of property that they're looking for. So let me give you an example. Let's say an investor comes in and walks in my office, but they want to buy a $30,000 home, okay? But as an agent, on $30,000 is really not that much money to be making off that type of deal. So between the investor and also the agent, okay, they may have an agreement that the additional cost will be $1,000. And that's how that agent will get paid at the close of escrow. So remember, there's three main things on a buyer broker's agreement that you must take a look at. Is number one is the time frame, okay? Number two, what is the commission, okay? And number three, what are the additional fees that the brokerage will be charging you, okay? So that's why it's so important that you just don't sit down with one realtor. You actually screen multiple realtors. The realtors are not really interviewing you. You should be interviewing the realtors, and that's what's important.